Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games, back with another cool arcade game repair video for you this evening. This time we have Centipede in the cocktail table cabinet. A lot of people call it a Pizza Hut style cabinet. Some people call it a tabletop cabinet. So they made the full size, which is just like a regular game, like the Galaga there. Then they made a cabaret game, which was, about 3/4 size of the upright. And then they made the cocktail table. Seen these in a lot of restaurants, but they were in a lot of the Pizza Huts, places like that. And we've been selling games for a long time. About 20 years. And basically, Miss Pac-Man and Galaga are still tied for number 1 and number 2, in my opinion. We get more requests for Miss Pac-Man and Galaga, or Pac-Man. I'm going to group those all together. But then the next step down would be Donkey Kong, Frogger, and Centipede. Those are all tied for number 2, in my opinion. That's our most, we'll just say that's the top 5. Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Donkey Kong, Frogger, and Centipede. And this claim to fame, Centipede's claim to fame is it was designed by a woman. And women really like Centipede. It's a fun game. Guy dropped this off yesterday, and he told me exactly what was wrong with it. He's got an arcade, so he's got lots of experience. He's checked it all out. I've checked it all out, and I've determined it's broke. So he claimed that he shipped the monitor board off to somebody. It had been rebuilt. Yada, yada, yada. And then he shipped the game board off to somebody else, and it had been rebuilt. Yada, yada, yada. And I think he even said he tried the game board and another Centipede, and it worked. But whenever he puts it in the cocktail table, it works. But whenever you hit the start button, it resets. So, to me, it sounds like either the power supply is low, or he's got the start buttons wired wrong. I'm pointing at it in person, but my finger's off on the screen. But that's the start buttons right there. And Atari had those volcano cone buttons. And they light up. There's a little LED in there that flashes red. But it gets its power from the 5-volt on the power supply. So if he's got that wired wrong, every time you hit the button, it could be shorting the 5 to the ground if he's got his wires on the wrong leads of the button. So that'd be nice. That'd be a nice, easy repair. But those are just my guesses. I haven't plugged it in yet. I'm just going off what he told me. So, I guess we're going to open it up. He said there wasn't any locks on it. I can just open it up now. There we go. Why didn't we do that earlier? Pretty nice tube on it. These always get really bad burn-in. You'll have burn-in of mushrooms all over the screen. There's the game board. It looks pretty clean. Uh-oh. Somebody done repinned it. That could be good, could be bad. We like it just original. Somebody's done been changing all those wires. See, they had to change them all one at a time. And if they didn't get those in the right spot, that could also be our problem. Here's the power supply. Can't really see it good the way it's in the cabinet there. He's put new track balls in it, it looks like. He didn't get it tightened up, though. And he forgot 2 of the bolts. Come on now, David. You can't do that, David. You can't just put 2 of the bolts in there. He's got them finger tight. I see. Well, that's broke. And look, he's got the bolts over here. I'm just giving David a hard time. And that's the 1-player side. That's the most important side. Come on now. Looks like he got all 4 of them in over here. All right, so, oh, I guess I better look at those buttons. Let's look at the buttons. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I don't know what color they're supposed to be. This is the ground. This is a 5. But maybe this one's a 5 too. I would think. I would think the red and the black go on these 2. Because I know the 2 going sideways is the power for the LED. So this is 5, we think. And that black should be ground. But then the switch needs a ground too. See, it looks to me like he's got both the reds. See how there's 2 reds and 2 blacks? I don't know. But you know how I can find out? I got another Centipede back here. Let's go look. We're walking. We're walking. Let me turn on the light so we can see something. Well, I was wrong. He's got them wired up right, looks like. Because both of the reds are on the sideways ones. Okay. All right, so let's go plug that other one in and see what the heck happens. What do you think about that? All right, plugged in. This is a little safety interlock switch here. The glass, when you put the top down, it'll push that in. But you can pull it out here too. That's basically so it cuts the power off when you open the top. Keeps you from getting electrocuted. Problem number 1. Monitor is very degoused. Looks like it's on free play, but my lights aren't. Oh yeah, they are. All right, so he says it's going to reset when I hit the start button. Yep. Starts freaking out when I hit the start button. Let's do it again. Do. Credit button's working. See if it'll give us an error. Well, it looked like it. Well, it's pretty much doing what he said it was doing. It's going to a track. Voltage could just still be low. I think my buttons are wired right. All right, let's check the voltage. You know what that hippie said? Power supply, power supply, power supply. Well, it's getting plenty of juice. It's actually too much. You gotta make sure you check it on the board and not over here. Because by the time it gets from there over there to the board, sometimes it'll change. So next up, I'm going to take that board out, and I think I'm going to try it on my test bench in the back. I think I have a JAMA adapter. I could try it in my other Centipede in the back, but where's the fun in that? Well, guess what? I can't find my Centipede JAMA adapter. Big surprise there. So now I'm just back here messing with my other Centipede, and gotta do it the boring way, I guess. And I gotta figure out which plug it is. I got too many games here. Apparently I don't have the game plugged in. Got my trophy hunting on though. Maybe this one's it. That is not it either. Going into a black extension cord. Does anybody else have this problem? I think I heard it kick on. I think I had a bad connection somewhere. It's probably halfway out of the extension cord over there. All right, see what it does on this one. See how mine's got a lot more burn in? He did a tube swap on that one over there, probably. That's why his tube was all wonky looking. Works fine in my cabinet. I hate it when people start changing stuff. Somebody messed with that edge connector. And he's got one of the wires in the wrong spot, probably. And now I'm gonna have to go through, check every freaking wire. I guess it's probably the 5 in the ground or something, but see what I'm saying here? Somebody swapped this edge connector. And I don't know for sure that they got them all in the right spot. Looks like it's got a new big blue in there. I was kind of thinking about that also. I don't know. Seems to me like it's going to have a wiring issue somewhere. So I guess that's next. I'm going to start seeing if I can track that down. Well, checked all my wires over there. I basically just focused on the ground and the 5. But then I remembered there wasn't any sound when we started it. No sound. Well, I got it to play a couple times, I guess, off camera. And I went back to the power supply. So, luckily, that's the most common power supply, pretty much. I probably got another 20 of those in the back. So I went and grabbed another one. Hooked it up. Came on. It's working. Show me the money. David, bring me the money. So yeah, one of these, it could be pretty much anything on this power supply board, really. Somebody's changed the caps on it, which Atari actually put in really good quality caps on these. Somebody could have put I'm not so sure that's the right one, but either way, power supply's broke, people. It's broke. Put another power supply in there and it works just fine. That monitor looks god-awful, though. I gotta try to get that looking a little bit better. I'm hoping I can just hit it with the gauge ring. I gotta turn the lights off so y'all can see. But I'm gonna put that power supply back down in there. And we'll try to do something with that monitor. All right, see how the colors are off at the top? Got my degauge ring here. Sometimes when you do a tube swap like that, the yoke may be too far back on the tube. So I may have to look at that. It's not really changing as I move it that much. Yep. The yoke or the tube has an issue. So I guess we'll look at that next. So I think he's done a tube swap on this at some point. And see how there's a big gap in between there and the tube. I'm going to loosen up this yoke. And see how I can move it all around. I'm gonna mess with those wedges a little bit and see if I can get it closer up where it's supposed to be. All right, see how it's a lot closer now? So I'm gonna put it back in and see if that does us any better. There you go. That's a big difference. But now I know why his trackball, he's got the bolts out of, because it ain't really working right. Trackball's broke. It'll barely go right. It doesn't really want to go left. It's just all out of whack. So I'm gonna open that up, mess with that. All right, I got the 1-player trackball working. But look at the 2-player trackball. I'll let the 1-player die. Sometimes a day. All right, look at the 2-player. He's got the bolts too tight. You can't have them, you can't torque them way down. The trackball's got to be able to move a little bit. Trackball number 2. So I assumed that he got new bearings for this one too. But you know what happens when you assume. Looks like he just put a new ball in there. But look. The bearings aren't moving. The ball is literally just sitting on top of them. That one's like frozen. This one moves a little bit, but I can't get either one of these to move. Yeah, that bearing won't even move. See how the whole thing's spinning? That bearing's supposed to move on its own. So that's why that trackball ain't working. So what have we learned here today, folks? Never bring Joe a Centipede cocktail table without brand new trackballs. On a game like Centipede, I mean, you got to have a good trackball. This thing wasn't even moving. It's almost like it's welded in place. So if you got a Centipede Centipede arcade game, just spend the $50 and buy a new trackball. Night and day difference. But anyway, I'm gonna work with this a little bit. I'm gonna try to get these freed up. I put some 3-in-1 oil on there, and hopefully they'll get going. But I'll be back. So I'm not picking on David, but if you've watched any of my other Centipede videos, I'm always saying that you've got to buy a brand new trackball. Don't buy the rebuild kit, because the rebuild kit just comes with new bearings and a ball. So you got to use your old casing and your old optics. Well, the rebuild kit, I think, is about 30 bucks. And, you know, then you got to take this trackball all apart, change the bearings, put 3-in-1 oil on it, put the optics back in, all this, that, and the other. And you've still got the original optics. But if you want to spend 50 bucks, you can get the whole thing that just plugs right in with brand new optics. Well, he must have bought the rebuild kit because these are the original optics. And guess what? The up is broke. It'll go left and right. It won't go up and down. And I've pretty much confirmed that it was the optic because each optic needs 5 volts over here. And I've got 5 volts on this optic and it works. I've got 5 volts on that optic and it doesn't work. So that means our optic is bad. But I think I've got another one in the back room that I'll just swap in there for him. All right, I'm trying to get situated here. I'm not any good at Centipede. But I'm going to play it. I'm going to try. The thing about it is, me and Ronnie don't play that many video games. You may think, well, you run a game store. Of course you play video games. Not really. We test them a little bit, and that's about it. The game we play is fixing them. That's our game. But we don't really play them that much. $11,000. I think I can do better than that. I always do that. I try to get them try to get them as they're coming down. They always end up getting me. Got the high score. 31,000. It's probably a new world record. We sold a centipede to some lady one time. And she got all excited because her initials was up there. And it may have been that CAD right there. Well, she was convinced that that was the exact same centipede she used to play. And I didn't want to hurt her feelings or anything, so I went along with it. But she didn't tell me till after she bought it, you know. You know, the real reason I bought this centipede. This is the exact same centipede I used to play down at the BP gas station on Highway 160 back in 1987. Went there every weekend. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds pretty cool. That's nice. I'm glad you got it back. But the dirty little secret is that's a default initial. So every centipede had that same initial on it. I don't know if it was that particular. I think it's that CAD there. But she was all excited that she got that centipede. But that was not the centipede she used to play. I mean, I guess it could be, but she probably had better luck winning the lottery. But anyway, this one works good. You can see why you have to have a good trackball. Once you get down here, you kind of got to bob and weave a lot. And if you don't have a good trackball, it ain't going to work. But this one cleaned up good. Works really well. Once I change that optic, I also got the second player start working and trackball working good. So that's pretty much going to do it for this one. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.